Word on the streets, it's Bowlznbeatz. What's good, everybody, and welcome back. It's your girl X, and today joining us is a singer and songwriter from Toronto. Let's welcome my girl, Ioanna.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. How are you feeling?
Nervous.
Are you having a good day?
Yes, I'm having a great day.
Good, because it's about to get better. So for my audience members that may not know you, tell them who you are, what you do, and, just basically who you are as a person as well.
My name is Ioanna. I moved to Toronto right before COVID. I have a background in acting and dancing a little bit, and singing was always there. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing myself a justice or a service by not trying to do music or trying to put myself out there a little bit more. So I was like, you know what? I just got to bite the bullet and try. And then COVID happened. So it was a little bit of a shit show. And then, here I am. I've been releasing music for a year and a half now.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what was the moment that you realized you wanted to take it seriously?
Truthfully, I just wasn't hitting my potential.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a cycle where you're like, okay, I'm not growing. I'm not my best version of myself. Everything's perfect. On paper, I'm hitting all the dots. I have a great job. I bought a house, all these things that are supposed to be you're happy. And I just wasn't. And I knew something was really wrong. I had quit music for a long time, actually. I had an incident happened, and incident after incident, you kind of get discouraged. Mm-hmm. There's so many negative things going on. So I quit, and I realized it took years. I was like, man, this is not it.
Yeah. I love that you actually said that, because I realize people who truly have a passion for music, mm-hmm. when they stop even just enjoying it or taking it seriously, they tend to not enjoy life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you realize you're not chasing your passion, you're like, damn, life kind of sucks right now.
Yeah.
You're ignoring that passion inside of you. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm glad you went for that, because not a lot of people have that. You know what I mean? That drive and that, like I said, passion to make it, right?
It's scary.
Yeah, of course it's scary.
It's really scary.
Of course. Chasing any dream is scary, but that's the whole point of it, right?
That's what I do with anything, though, because my parents, I'm half Greek, half Lebanese. Mm-hmm. My dad came here. He did not know how to speak English. And he always told me he'd always be in really embarrassing situations where he didn't know how to talk to people, but he made it happen. He started his own business. He's a boss. Yeah. I'm really blessed to have the family that I do, and I'm just I learned so much from that.
Exactly.
Watching that growing up, that I'm you know what, nothing can be harder, especially if I'm born here.
Yes.
No,
absolutely. This is the land of opportunities.
Yeah.
And I feel people forget that when they're born here. They forget how much opportunities we truly have.
Yeah.
So what made you want to move to Toronto specifically?
I just found myself always coming down here. Before, I was at the studio that I'm at now, which is Abstract in Vaughan.
Shout out Abstract.
Shout out Abstract. I was at this studio space, again, another one in Vaughan, and I was writing music for other artists and myself, and I just wasn't putting it out. It was kind of almost like a passion project then, because I wasn't really happy. So I was like, maybe I'll just for fun go back and do it, on the side. I was driving up 2-3 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Working 2 jobs on top of it. Yeah.
So did you feel a culture shock when you moved to Toronto from Niagara?
Yes, I did.
Right?
Yes, I
Everybody
did.
says that. I'm like, really?
Yes, I love Toronto. But if I was just to describe it, athleisure, coffee to go, and dogs.
That's so funny.
That's my...
Oh my God, interesting. That's great.
You know what I mean?
That's great.
That's a good...
Much better than what I thought you were going to say.
No, and then the other side... Don't worry, I'm not done. I also work at Abstract. So I get to work and witness a lot of rappers and hip hop artists, and that was a culture shock too. The Toronto slang and the language, and it was wow.
That's funny.
I've learned a lot.
So do you feel the Toronto culture influenced your music as well?
Yes.
Interesting. In what way?
In the sense that we're not afraid to try new things. I know my genre is pop R&B, but if you look at my catalog, I love collaborating. I love working with different kinds of artists, different languages, different sounds. I just released a track with Deep Jandu. It's a Punjabi pop song.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's just no boundaries in that sense. And I also like can understand I'm really different from a lot of like the other females in Toronto right now.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just like take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Well, you said it's true. You are standing out from what I see right now in the female pop scene, which is why you grabbed my attention in the first place. I saw that you did that recent song, Rock My Boat, and I was like, oh shit, she's doing it with a Punjabi artist. Like, that's so cool. Like, you don't see a lot of people doing that in the city, which is shocking because it's very multicultural.
Super.
So when I saw you do that, I was like, she's smart. Like, and clearly it was a hit. It's doing so well right now.
It just hit. I literally, just before I walked in, it hit 1 million views on YouTube.
Oh my God.
So it's really crazy. Thanks, girlfriend.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's so catchy. I was listening to it, and then I didn't realize, like, the rest of the day I was, like, singing it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, it's catchy. Like, shit. Like, I don't even know what that guy's saying, but even his part's catchy. Like,
it's so fire.
Even the visuals, like, I loved it because it was a great representation of Toronto, like, on a positive note. You know, usually, like, in the music videos nowadays, you see like either grungy things or just like a bunch of naked girls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you were just like literally partying on the skyline with like people, like normal people, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like no plastic girls, like it was literally looking like Toronto.
Yeah.
And like you pulled people off the street and you were like, come party with me.
Come party. I was like really particular because I want to create what I want to see more of. Mm-hmm. So you can't expect things to change without being the person that's also going to be like, you know what? I have to embody it to make it happen. Yeah. Like when a lot of people are like, oh, Toronto artists aren't supportive of one another. I don't know. I actually don't know if that really is true. And if it is, it's not in my realm. Yeah. Like the artists that like I admire and look up to are also a lot of the time my friends now. And like, just because I'm coming into the scene now doesn't mean there's not room for everyone to succeed. Absolutely. And I want to see everybody winning, and I want to see everybody doing what's true to them. Mm-hmm. Because there's a million people trying to do music, and they're in pop or in R&B. You're not competing with each other. You're just competing with yourself with your last release.
Like, I don't know about you, but whenever I see anybody from Toronto make it, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel happy. I'm like, you know what? I kind of made it too.
You
like,
did.
You're from my place. Like, it's such a good feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you brought up a good point as well, that you are your environment. You know what I mean? People talk about Toronto not being supportive, but like you said, you choose who you want to support and you get that support back. Yeah. Right? So I think that's amazing. So I'm going to bring this up. It's kind of like a touchy topic, but whatever. The music industry is obviously like in a dangerous environment, especially for women. Yeah. So how do you stay away from the like dark side of the media industry? You know, there's drug addiction, there's plastic surgery left, right, center, especially for women, you know?
I was told, like, are you going to consider getting a BBL? I just learned this year what a faja is. I was like, what the fuck is a faja? I'm like, what is that?
Don't kill me.
I swear to God. And I was like, oh shit. Like, it never escapes you, because when I was 13, I learned what like rhinoplasty means, because I was in acting. I was growing up in this like really terrible, I think at our time, like growing up, it was a really very bad time for women to be like, look this way, look this way, look this way. Now, I think
it's a little more diverse.
The younger generation is picking up too. Yeah. They're kind of like not buying into this shit anymore, which is great, because, you know, women's bodies should look like women's bodies, and everybody's is different. Like,
as long as you're a woman, that's what your body should look like.
You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? Some girls are just naturally more petite than others. Some naturally have curves, and it's like, the what's cool and what's in is always going to change.
Absolutely.
So what? Because something changes, now let's go take out some ribs and then stuff some fat over here. It's like, it's crazy when you actually think what we're doing.
It is.
Like, when we really look at it, I'm just like, okay, also, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
Because did someone tell me I have to look like this?
Are you truly going to be happy after it's done?
You know, maybe not. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I've thought about things.
Of course.
I'm very proud of myself that I've never like touched anything. Because I was really close at one point.
Let's give it up.
You know, it's hard out here. It's really hard. It's really hard to be a natural gal.
Yeah, it is.
You know, but I think because of the people that I admire and that I aspire to, like, not that it's my responsibility to set an example, but I have 5 sisters and 1 brother.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I'm the oldest.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'll never forget one time my youngest sibling, she was like, I was complaining about my baby hairs or something, and I was in high school. I can't remember. She comes out of the washroom like crying. She comes, gives me a big hug. She shaved off all her baby hairs. because I was talking about myself.
Oh.
And that broke my heart. I was like, never again. Like, we joke now and we make like silly comments to one another, but that really stuck with me forever, that I was like, you never know who's listening or watching or how they're feeling. And if I'm going to come up in this industry, it's not going to be in the one that like literally almost tore me down.
Wow.
You know?
That's crazy. So how do you like stay away from that in an industry where it's so normalized?
You can't stay away from it. You really have to know what you stand for and who you are and what you're doing. My thing is like, my blinders are like this, and everything is like, how am I growing as an artist, as a person? What am I learning? You're never gonna get away from it. I like all the time I'm surrounded by really beautiful, intelligent, smart women. I'm not talking shit about getting plastic surgery. Just I'm talking about the dangers of like how far it can go.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, this is something new. We're forgetting this hasn't been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. Like this is new, and people don't really know like what's gonna happen in the future, or where this is going, right?
Yeah, and then it's like, where's the line?
Yeah, and you brought up a good point too, that like your loved ones also are a reflection of how you treat yourself. Like when I think of everybody I love, like the first thing that comes to my mind isn't how they look.
Never.
It's like, I love this person because they're a great person. I love this person for doing this. Like, it's never because they're hot or like, you know what I mean?
Or all my, like, I even like look at my, I have a very small group of like best friends, and it's like, I would never change anything about you.
Yes.
So why, like, what is this thing that we have with ourselves? Like, so the more I like just don't care about that, where that's like not the priority. And like, I think beauty is like a lot of energy too. Like, even guys that I'm attracted to, you can look like however you look. When you have like energy and swag and like those things, I'm like, oh shit, who's that?
Yeah. You ever see like an attractive guy and then like his energy is just so trash, and you're like,
oh god,
like,
stay over there.
Like, don't even fucking look at me.
Like, you're like, okay.
Yeah, I feel you. That's a good point. Wait, so that's a Greek name, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's explain that to my audience. You guys, this is a Greek name and it translates to Joanna, no?
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that you kept it.
Thank you.
Because there's a lot of people in the city that translate their name, and I actually prefer their roots, their name that comes from their roots.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I try really hard. Like, I pride myself on being like, no, what's your real name? Like, I'll say it.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to be, like, if that's your name, that's your name.
Exactly.
Because at one point when I went to school, they were like, do you want to change it? I was like,
oh, interesting.
I was like, no, why would I want to change it?
It's
my friggin' name. Like,
I love that you kept it. Like you said, you need to be like the face of change if you want things to change, right?
Yeah. And
I actually just want to bring this up quickly before we move on to the next subject. I saw an interview where Nicki Minaj was talking about how she only got her BBL because the industry was telling her to, not because she actually wanted it, and now she regrets it.
100%.
So I just want to put that out there. So like shout out artists like Lizzo and Coyle Ray for like being those faces that are changing it and not listening to what everybody else is saying.
Yeah, and it's not easy by any means. Like this last release was my first sort of like taste of real like hate comments and real like really? These aren't just friends being like, oh, great job on your release or your song, or people are starting to take notice. It was like, oh, like comments are starting to come in where it's like, wow, people who are famous are still people. It's crazy how we don't think of that. Yeah. So I really admire people who are like, no, like they're tough in it. They're in it for the right reasons.
Exactly.
Like I'm here for the right reasons.
Exactly.
I wish I could do something else where it brings me this much joy and energy and excitement. Like I can be at the studio for 3-4 days and I'm like, I'm good.
It's your purpose.
Yeah. Yes. It's just like I don't know how to explain it. Like when you find something like that, it's not an accident. It's really important that whatever it is you want to do in life, if you feel that thing, no matter what it is, you have to do it.
Yes.
Because you'll regret the rest of your life.
That's very true.
Like I wasted years of my life questioning myself. And in the last year and a half, I've been very like fortunate to see like so much growth.
Yes.
And
I've seen you grow just from your 5 songs that you've released. Like you just keep getting better and better and better. One of my favorites is Tempted to Touch. Yeah. She did a little remix of Tempted to Touch. I was like, damn.
With my guy, shout out Ren
Yes,
Riddles.
I was feeling that. Yeah. And even Rock My Boat, like I like that too now. I'm like, this is a whole vibe, and you're really getting into like that multicultural scene, which is very smart on your end as well. Like being a half Greek, half Lebanese, do you tap into your cultures as well? Or do you have plans to?
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Yeah. My thing was too, like, I grew up where it's like, okay, my dad's Muslim. My mom's Greek Orthodox.
Yes.
So me and my siblings are the product of two things that should have never, been. And like, I think that's also a testament to like why I do what I do, because people are people, and across the whole globe, at the end of the day, we're really not that different.
Absolutely.
It's really
true.
like,
it's very true.
You know, so, and that's why I love Toronto too. Like there's no boundaries in that sense. Like people are so different from everywhere.
True. And I can see by all the collabs you've done, I can tell you like collabing with people.
I love collabing.
I think like almost every song, if not every song, is a collab, right?
Pretty much every song
That's
except
amazing.
Good to Me. Yeah.
That's great. So who's been your favorite?
Oh, I
She's like, shit.
They've all been my favorite in their own sense.
Interesting.
Because every song is kind of like a kid. You can't pick a favorite, but they're all different.
It's true. They're all like your little project.
Yeah, every project is their own, and like once it's out of my hands, it's out of my hands.
Have you ever had a bad experience with a collab?
Yeah, I have.
Ooh, want to tell me about that?
I actually have.
Like,
Can I talk about it?
I mean, you can fill in the blank with another name.
No, I can't. I can't.
Off the camera. I'll get
Off camera.
Yes.
But I will. Yeah, but you know what? It's always a teaching opportunity. Like it's always a learning curve. Everything that I've gone through, even when it's really bad, it's like it's honestly a stepping stone, so that the next time it's like, no, I'm aware.
So what's one piece of advice you can give to other female artists in the industry that, you know, you don't want them to repeat your mistakes?
Oh my God. I've made so many. Where do we start?
Well, you got to learn, right?
Yeah. The number one is like, you really have to know who you're working with, like, and be really safe. There's always like, I feel like women, we're naturally like more nurturing, we're more open, we're more susceptible to people to take advantage of us. Just to like really know your surroundings first and foremost, and like who you're working with, and make sure like someone knows where you are and what you're doing. I don't want to sound scary, but like I have been through stuff where I'm like, I literally quit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I quit music.
I agree.
It was
I agree.
terrible.
No, literally, like there's such a high percentage of women who drop their music career because of the music industry, you know, whether it's like creepy producers or creepy collab people, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just something we gotta like start talking about, because not a lot of women talk about it, you know. Even women producers, like there's not a lot of women producers out there before that reason as well. They don't want to get into the studio with 6 guys making them uncomfortable, right?
Period. And you know what? I learned last year how to engineer, so I'm also an audio engineer. I'm at Abstract. I have my own like little group of artists that I record, and you know, as a female artist, I would probably recommend working with other females.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole, I don't know, if I really don't buy into the whole jealousy thing and girls can't work with each other. I'm like, no. Guys come into the studio, they come in groups, they come in hordes, and they're all like having the best time of their life.
Yeah.
When girls come in, we're usually like by ourselves. And it's cool, but it's also like, yeah, we can change that. We can do whatever we want.
Absolutely, I agree. And you actually bring up a good point, because I think like the female community in Toronto is so strong, but we just don't realize it. You know what I mean? Like there's so much potential.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to start this. I'm like, everybody wants to support each other, but there's not a platform to like bring everybody together.
Right.
So I'm like, let me do that, because the potential in the city is crazy when it comes to women. I low-key feel like the guys are a little intimidated.
They better be, because
But,
we're coming. They
it's
better
okay,
be.
It's too late.
It's already done. It's already,
we already realized our potential. It's too late. Y'all better be scared.
Yeah, even like female DJs. I met so many. Actually, a girlfriend of mine now, like I used to be a fan of her when I was in Niagara, and I was in Toronto. I was at this like ice skating thing in the winter, and I was looking, I'm like, oh my God. I went and introduced myself. I said hi, and like a year and a half later, we're doing functions together. My music's getting played. Like we message each other. It's been so fun. So like, it's amazing how the world will open for you once you just get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about failing. You have to fail to get ahead. There's no way around it. If something flops or it doesn't do well, it's fine. Like, just brush it off.
It's just a stepping stone.
It's just a stepping stone.
Absolutely.
Because if you failed, you're failing forward.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you actually stopped music for a while. So what advice do you have to any artists out there who are feeling discouraged, or who have gone through a situation where they're like, okay, I give up?
Is giving up the answer? Like, you really have to ask yourself, like, are you going to be okay? Because I wasn't okay. I wasn't good without pursuing what I wanted to do. Like, I just wasn't challenged. Also, my personality is like, if I learn something, I'll get really good at it.
Yeah.
And I'll get stuck. you don't fit everywhere that you can fit. Like, you don't belong everywhere you can fit. That's my favorite quote. You can fit in so many different places, but does that mean you belong there?
That's a very good point.
You know?
That was deep.
That was serious stuff. Like, even like, just sorry. You know what I mean?
You feel it in your soul if you belong. You really feel it within.
And like,
your intuition.
You know, I just know, I've had this knowing for a long time. Like, I have very big plans, whatever they are. Like, you know, the man upstairs. We've had some chats. This guy's putting me through it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm supposed to be doing something, so I'm just going with the flow. I'm doing things that I really enjoy. I'm working with people, meeting new people, and I'm really, that's it.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
So what are your future plans for your career? Do you have anything that we should be watching out for?
Next year is definitely going to be my project coming out, my EP. I might have 1 or 2 really exciting collabs on it that I cannot talk about. I know, I'm sorry. Maybe off camera. Definitely that. There's a few performances and spots that aren't confirmed that we're hoping to get into. And I think next year too, in the summertime, I want to be going to Greece. We have a few plans to be doing a few tiny little shows over there. And I think that's all.
So you can speak Greek?
A little bit.
How about Lebanese? Can you speak Lebanese?
No, unfortunately, not as much. Yeah.
Can you understand them?
I can understand.
Oh, cool,
yeah, I can get by, but just like,
okay.
Yeah, it was
So you definitely have to tap in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they'll love that, especially when you're like from there. You know what I mean? When they find out your parents are from there, they'll go off for you.
So it was really funny. There was like this artist at the studio, and I'm really comfortable like at my studio. It's like literally my home. So these guys are coming in, and I'm showing the other engineer like my full Greek dancing set, like in my village costume on a freaking island in Greece in the dirt. And I'm like, guys, look, that's me. They're like, what? Who is this girl? Like, what's she doing here?
You're gonna remember this when you're standing out, right? Regardless, one way or another.
Well, I'm like, oh my god, okay, I gotta turn this off. All these guys are coming in.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Before I let you go, is there anything you want to tell my audience? Anything we should look forward to, where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, for sure. So my handle on Instagram is Ioanna Music. Check out all our stuff on Abstract Music, Abstract Studios. I'm an audio engineer over there. We work with a lot of other females. If someone's like curious about doing songwriting, engineering, that's my biggest thing too, is like, don't be afraid to try new things. Like, if you want to learn something, just reach out, just ask questions. You know, we're all here to support each other. So yeah, thanks for listening. Check out my Spotify, my Apple Music, and let me know what you think. Yes,
you guys heard the girl. Go follow her on all social media. Thank you, Ioanna, for being here so much.
Yeah,
it was such a pleasure. You were amazing.
Nice to meet you.
And guys, like I said, go follow her right now. Well, that wraps up our interview. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good shit. Word on the streets, it's Bowlznbeatz. Bye. Bye.
Way to go.
Way to go, you.
Yo, that was cute.